and the LSX Specialties. Just got a whole table full of parts right here. They're all the differences in electrical parts and sensors between the Gen 3 and Gen 4 engines. So hopefully you get a little bit of info from all this to help you. Let's get into it. So this is Gen 3 parts. Start with the ECUs. This is the P01, the red-blue connectors, 99 to 02. This came with drive-by cable mainly. It did come with drive-by wire throttle bodies. It'd be an odd-looking throttle body like this. This is a Corvette throttle body, but the trucks are very similar. Motors on the other side. But if it had traction control and it was a 99 to 02, it came with an electronic throttle body in the trucks. This is a P59. This is the 03 to 07 drive-by wire. Blue and green connectors. The locating tab here on the green is in a different location than the red. So these don't just directly plug in with each other. There are things to be done in the harness to make them work with each other if they need to be, but they don't just directly plug in. This is the P59 with the IAC driver. 03 to 07 also, blue-green also, but this is capable of drive-by cable throttle. This is the shade of gray area in Gen 3 stuff. So like vans, GTOs, they came with cable throttle bodies. And the P59. Okay, so if you pull the cover off the rear of these, see these pins sticking through? Nothing here. This is no IAC driver. P59 with the IAC driver. Here's the driver right here. So these three computers use a 24X wheel. This is a crank sensor, black cast in plastic there. No reluctor on the cam gear. It's just a standard cam gear, no cam sensor. The cam sensor is long, goes in the back of the block behind the intake, and the reluctor wheel is actually on the camshaft itself. All aftermarket cams have that reluctor wheel on them. You don't got to worry about that stuff. Gen 3 knock sensors. This goes down in the valley cover. There's two of them. So here's all the Gen 3 parts. They can all somehow work together in some type. Typically, you'll have this Moltec injector connector on Gen 3 stuff. If it was a flex fuel, they started 02 to 07 with flex fuel stuff. It will have this EV6 connector. EV1 connectors never came on truck engines. This is car engine stuff here. Okay, here is the odd in-between stuff. So this is an E40 ECU. This is 05 and 6 only. Trailblazers, Corvettes, things like that. E40. This does work with the 24X wheel, but this does have a front cam sensor and a one-tooth cam gear. So these parts all work together. This is drive-by-wire only. This engine that this came on can be converted to this stuff for drive-by cable with the front cam sensor. Okay, Gen 4 stuff. This is the most common ECU. This is the good old-fashioned E38. E38. 7 to 14. E67s. These came in Trailblazers, Cadillac CTSVs, E67. And then the E78. Typically in vans, work trucks, not as common to find, but they came in the work vehicles. So they aren't able to control 4L60, 4L80s with the T42 as these two can. So all three of these computers here use a 58 tooth reluctor wheel, and the crank sensor is cast in gray plastic. This is a T42 module. This is what's needed to operate a 4L60 and a 4L80E in a Gen4 setup. T43 module. This is the 6L80, 6L90 computer. You don't ever see these, they're inside the transmission. So if your harness doesn't have a separate computer for the transmission, but it had a 6L80E, this is why it's inside the transmission. Connector kind of pokes through the back of the case. These all had front cam sensors. If it had variable valve timing, here's the setup. There's the cam gear with the reluctor on it. There's the cam phaser on the timing set. This is what it would use if it was just a normal camshaft, no variable valve timing, 4-tooth, and the sensor. These are all drive-by-wire only. This is a 4-bolt throttle body. Not able to work with the 3-bolt throttle body on the Gen3 stuff. These are all interchangeable between each other. These bolt patterns are the same. Whether a car or truck engine, bolt pattern's the same. Knock sensor on the Gen4, this bolt's on the side of the block. These E40 ECUs use the Gen4 type knock sensor as well. So hopefully that gave you a little bit of info. Maybe you can screenshot this. Thanks for watching.